Dale here. We're doing a review of the Ironheart N1 deck jacket. I got this jacket in November and I've had some time to figure out what I like about this jacket, what I don't like about this jacket. Now look, full disclosure, I did buy this jacket used. I got it for $450 off of eBay or thereabouts. That did impact my buying decision. So if you're buying at the full price, you know, maybe that's the decision to be made. And we're going to talk about price and value a little later on. But first things first, let's talk about this jacket as it's built, its construction. You know, this is an Ironheart product. Ironheart is kind of known for overbuilding things, and this N1 is no exception. It's extremely well put together. I bought this jacket used, as I mentioned. It kind of been used heavily, and it still works. And actually, I really like that I got it as a used jacket for the purposes of knowing how it stands up, because whoever had this jacket before me was not shy about really clearly using it hard, and it's had some wear in, but it didn't wear out. You know, it's got a little bit of scuff. It's got the lining is a little bit used up looking, but it still works. It still keeps me warm. And I think that it just goes to show that this is a jacket that can really be used for a long time for its intended purpose of keeping you warm when it's really cold out. So kudos to them on the craftsmanship. Some things that I want to talk about the build on this jacket that I have found to be surprisingly useful. One is the zip and button closure has been great to keep the wind out. And I want to draw special attention to our friend here, the throat latch. This actually has been super handy in a way that I was not really expecting it to be, because it just locks this cozy collar right around your neck. And it's basically been the kind of perfect size to be snug without feeling like I'm choking. And it has really done a lot to help seal in the warmth for me around my neck, which just overall helps me feel much more comfortable and cozy. So surprisingly handy. There's also, and I didn't even realize this when I bought this jacket, there is an inside pocket, which is kind of not huge, but deep enough to put a phone in there, or, you know, other things that you don't want on these outside pockets. Also been really handy. In fact, the hand warmer pockets themselves have been quite handy. So all the pockets, the configuration, the thoughtfulness on their access, really like them. There's a two-way zipper on this jacket. Can you see me? I have not really used the two-way zip. I find that it's a two-way zips are really great if you're in a position where you're bending over where the zip is and you need to get the zip above that spot. Like if you're sitting and all the way zipped jacket to the bottom is just inconvenient. I haven't really encountered that so much with this jacket, so I find it interesting that it has a two-way zip, and maybe there's a use case that hasn't applied for me, but the two-way zip has not been the most handy or useful or impactful item. The same has gone for these button closures on the wrists and the hem. I have found I haven't really used them at all. Now, there is something that, this being a used jacket, I missed out on, which is there is supposed to be a cord that comes out of the hem here that you can tighten around the base. I wish I had that, because it would help to lock in the heat on my lower hem in the same way that this, the throat latch locks in the heat around the collar. I don't have it. I also want to point out these, the storm cuff here really does a good job of sealing in the heat. So much so that I kind of have to force the sleeve to go past it, or force the gloves to go past it to where when I'm putting things on. But it's been great. Wonderfully built, well put together, really thick knits, which I really like. And looks like they'll be around for a while. And considering how heavily this jacket had been used prior to me getting it, and that there's no really appreciable wear on the knits, that just kind of is a really good sign that they're going to continue lasting for a long time. And knits are often a part that falls apart more quickly. So kudos to whoever made these knits, because they're really great. I want to talk about fit. Now, this is a medium. And as we know, Ironheart is a Japanese-made brand. Sizing for their shirts, I typically wear a large. So it can be a little confusing to when you're going in the sizing between their shirts to their jackets. I don't know. This is just really a big jacket, I think, if you get it at your typical Ironheart size. And as you can see, I have space for layering this thick wool sweater underneath and it's very comfortable. I would generally say, unless you're a really big person or you have a big belly or your arms or shoulders are especially big in proportion to your body, that sizing down gets you a reasonable fit. It's trim enough that you can wear it with a shirt like I have, or to layer under it. Now, if you're in a really cold area and you really want to use this Ironheart N1 deck jacket as your cold weather jacket, then you may need to take, you know, what might be your typical size from Ironheart. Like a large on me instead of the medium would allow me to wear more and more warm layers underneath the jacket. That being said though, to my mind, with this jacket, it just strikes me as something that if it's really cold out there, like really cold out there to where you would need to size up to a large to be able to fit all your layers underneath it, maybe you want to get a parka instead. Like, you know, it doesn't, this jacket has the neck warming situation, but it doesn't have a full hood. It's not a super long jacket, so what it's warming on your body is kind of limited to that. So if you're spending a really long amount of time outdoors and you're wanting a more comprehensive cold weather jacket, you might look at a parka instead of this N1. And getting to that through this idea of sizing is how I landed on it. So that's why it's in this section. So the use case for me on this jacket is I'm really active. I use it when I'm walking. If you're thinking about the N1 as part of a really cold weather setup, you would need to accessorize pretty heavily for like warm pants, very warm hat, perhaps with a hood and flaps and all that situation. It will work, it could work, but to have an all-in-one jacket, you know, the parka and those other full hooded jackets that are longer might make more sense if you're in a really cold zone. Styling this jacket, a lot of people have asked me about this jacket just being out and about and on posts that I've made. It's a handsome jacket, it's a good looking jacket, it's a very casual jacket, but I have found that I can wear it in a lot of situations and it fits right in. I wouldn't wear it over tailoring, that would look absurd, but if you're wearing jeans, if you're wearing chinos, any kind of classic dress down looks, it fits in, and there are plenty of colorways. This is the black, they have like a khaki, they have an olive. So I mean, like, you can find a color that will work with the outfits you're putting together. And then finally, talking about price, as I said, I got this jacket for $450. At $450, I think this is a fantastic deal. If you just want a jacket to keep you warm, you can probably find cheaper ones that are not from Ironheart, that are not even N1 jackets, that like puffer jackets and other styles like that. But if you're looking for a jacket made not of synthetic materials, that's not also like a sheepskin style jacket, these N1 deck jackets are pretty good and amongst the warmest ones that you'll find. Now, you could get a great coat from like a surplus military outlet for significantly less than $750. So for you, I have to ask the question, if you're interested in this jacket, you have to say to yourself, is it something I'm getting for the style of it, and does that style have a value? If I'm just getting it for the warmth, there are cheaper non-synthetic options out there that you could get. For me, I think it's a really great jacket, and Ironheart puts a very good N1 out. I haven't compared directly to other brands. You know, there are plenty of folks that make a great N1, you know, so go looking and see which ones make sense to you in your price range. For example, like, I'll put some down below in the comments with some prices, and find one you like. I think that the Ironheart one is definitely going to be amongst the most overbuilt, most robust, and will be warmer than a lot of the other ones because of the way they do. Well, look, it's starting to really snow down, so I'm going to have to cut this video out. Thank you for joining me while I talked about it, and I'd really be curious about other questions you'd have about the Ironheart N1 deck jacket. I'll answer them in the comments below, and thank you for joining me.